Hey guys, RC here. I am back with another video for Draft Day Sports College Basketball. Couple of things here. If you go into their website, and I will walk you to where it's at, we have all of these wonderful columns and threads. So we have College Basketball 2017 here. They have the Pro Basketball game, college football, and then previous versions of college basketball, previous versions of the current pro football game, hockey, uh, golf. I mentioned that they had a golf game and an older pro basketball game. And then if you click on the icon here, that will open up their main website, and that's where you can come in and look at all their games that are available. You can click on those to download them and everything else. Let's see, and they do have a demo. So if you want to just download it to try it, you can do that. And then when you get to the end of the season, or at the point where the demo ends, it does not give you finite playing time. No game should do that, but it will give you probably a season, and then it will end, and then you will have to purchase the game. When you open the game, at that point, it gives you a box to input a purchase code that you get when you buy it from the web store. So that is what that is. But as far as what I have done since we talked, I did go into the mods. So college basketball 2017. I went to Bloomington's real world mod, and I downloaded it from his Dropbox file. So I got that. I saved it. You can see that it's right there. And I installed that. So the game and the mod are installed to my secondary gaming hard drive, which is my D drive. So that has been done. Now, what I did find out, it does not overwrite an existing game. It will only work with a new game. So you can see the teams are now real. I did have to start a new career. So I just restarted my coach. I kind of put everything in. My skills may be a little off, but everything else was pretty much in there. And I decided to take a job with Mount St. Mary's. I actually saw them in the tournament a few years ago. So that's the only tie I have to them. But this is our first screen. So as soon as you have created your coach, accepted your job, just like at the end of the introduction video, this is where we end up at. So now we'll kind of start looking at the nuts and bolts of playing. So here you can see basically it has copied over everything from my coach. I can go in and edit that. Gives us some background information. So we have a 3-year contract. With them, it was a 3-year deal. With the previous job, I couldn't figure out who it was. It might have been Howard. Was a 2-year contract, but Mount St. Mary's gave me a 3-year deal. Your current reputation and attributes. That you chose the attributes, your reputation, and your skills. So these are the custom skills that we did, and as we develop, those will slowly increase over time. All right, so this is kind of your home page. If you click home, this is where it should bring you. So in fact, let's click on home. It didn't bring me anywhere else, so I guess that's right. All right, so we have our profile. That's this page. We have an email page. All right, so this is where you will get important information that you kind of need to be aware of. So first off, welcome to the game. Check your email box often. And again, you won't get this after the first year. It tells you basically how to get started. You'll notice the double arrow icon up here, right here, becomes active at points during the off season. When it's active, that's the button to activate the recruiting actions for the week and advance to the next week. I'm really glad they put that, because I remember when his first game came out, we were like, what do we click to move ahead? We don't know. A lot of us. And then these are your option bars. If there's an action that has to be taken, you'll have action options down here. These are blank, you can see, so they are done. Also, just an important note, if it has an asterisk, it requires user information. Now, none of mine do, and you notice I have two. So there's my welcome. We'll delete that. All right. Our basketball budget, 151,000 and 4 scholarships is what we're going to have to deal with. The AD says he's in the preliminary stages of putting together our non-conference schedule. Call me using the office phone. All right. So again, I haven't played this game before, and I haven't played the college basketball game probably in a couple of versions. So I'm gonna have to kind of, you guys might be able to help me, but I'm gonna walk through this and just kind of we'll pick and choose our way through it, and we'll figure it out. I mean, it's not rocket science. So that that's why you reading the emails is important. So you have to use the phone call right here to contact your AD. Just do it before the end of August, and we're on May 1st. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and call him right now. There's my drop down. I can talk to players, recruits, or my AD. And you have a time limit, and basically you'll have options. So let's go ahead and call him up. All right, so neat with the sound effects and everything. All right, so he answers the phone. Hey, I'm working on the schedule. What preferences do you have? Well, we can talk. Scheduling's the only thing we can talk about, but there may be other things at certain times. What do we want here? I don't want softies. Not too tough, but we'll play away. Okay, can't make any guarantees, but I'll do my best. Okay, that was all we had to talk about. So let's go back to emails. We're going to delete that because we've already taken care of it. And purchase your scouting reports. Time for another season. Getting new recruits is important. You don't want to be a step behind. 6 different reports, one for each region. A national report. So based on the level school that you are, right? You will, if you're Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, if you're one of the national programs, and Michigan's 17 in this poll. How interesting. So again, I did have to restart the league to get the mod to take effect because I can't play without the real teams. That's tough on me. Just something, middle block that I have. So you can see it does randomize a little bit every year. All right, so as Mount St. Mary's, we're at RPI of 225. That's not really good. So I'm probably not going to want to pay extra money for a national report or, international players and top 150 recruits because those are guys that I'm not going to be able to get, right? So you can get the basic report or the gold edition where they rank and rate each player. The better your scouting ability, the less you might need from them. The worse your scouting ability, the more you might want. So we'll take a look at that. So you can see up here we are by reports and advance. So that's what we have to do. So we're going to delete that. We're going to delete that. All right, so there's really nothing else over here to look at right now. So let's go ahead and look at buying our reports. All right, so we are in the Northeast. I believe that's where Mount St. Mary's is because I honestly don't know. I guess that would be helpful because that's where I have to recruit. So we're going to pull up a quick Google search. Where is Mount St. Mary's College? It is a private school. Is that Los Angeles? Really? Why am I in the Northeast Conference then? Oh, no. Newburgh, New York. Oh, I think they were looking at, maybe Google was looking at St. Mary's, not Mount St. Mary's. But okay, so Mount St. Mary's is in New York, upstate New York. That would make sense with the Northeast Division. So we're going to want to recruit up here in the New York area. So that's going to be the Atlantic East. Now I've only got a $74,000 budget. And out of that, I'm going to have to hire coaches. All right, basic editions contain the top 200 seniors in the region. The Gold Star edition contains that information plus player overall rankings by position, a 1 to 5 star rating, and top school preferences. Now, honestly, the Gold edition is what I would like. Question is, can I afford it? And I would say with my budget, probably not. So we're going to go with the basic. I hope I don't regret that. And we're in upstate New York here. I don't know that I'll be able to afford to recruit outside of that area. Now, do you spend the extra money for the gold and only get one area? Do you spread out? Um, you know, I think, probably at a school like North Carolina, you get the national, the international, and maybe even your regional gold star. I don't know if what I don't know is, does the regionals and the national cross over each other? Is that a waste of money? So that would be interesting to know. If you know the answer to that, comment below in the video. But for right now, we're going to go with just our regional, and that saves us a good bit of money. So we're going to advance here.
You have new mail.
Ooh, we have new mail. That sounded like AOL, didn't it? Old AOL. A lot of you guys probably don't know what that is. All right, here's our updated email. Summer camps, transportation. Summer camps are where basically AAU tournaments and AAU type events. Do you want to go look at any of these players? So that's the only email we've got. That'll be the next thing up here is summer travel with your action button. All right. So the Big Apple Showcase. So you can go to as many of the regionals that you want. You can go to all 5 if you want. But as far as the 3 nationals, you can only go to one of them. And they're all the same day. So, basically you have the Midwest, the East Coast, and the southern area. We're not going to go to those. I'll probably attend this Atlantic East. I don't know why, but we're going to do it anyway. Mainly just to get out of the office, I think.
You have new mail.
All right, there's our update. Recruiting has begun. All right, you can officially begin to recruit players for entry into your program next season. Recruiting will take place every week from now until the end of April. So we're in June, and if you have watched my college football, they do the same way. The recruiting takes place during the actual season, so you have a little bit longer off time in where you don't do anything and you actually skip ahead in the calendar. So that's interesting. Certainly not bad for a single player game. A little bit more to deal with in a multiplayer, but at the end of the day, it actually may save some time and sims for multiplayer. So basically from June until next April, and of course what happens in April? Well, that's the end of the season and the end of the NCAA tournament where the national champion is crowned. So basically recruiting will go all the way to that. The recruiting page has an option to see a recruiting calendar. Okay, that's this here. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Check the team strategy page so you can assign coaches. All right, so let's do that real quick. Coach assignments. All right, so here's my assistants. So, I already came with assistants. I didn't have to hire this year. All right, scouting 30, 22, 21. So he's my best scout. but he's also my best recruiter. Now, this is where you could change him if you don't need him to recruit one week and you only want him scouting. You can move him around. But let's see, scouting 22, scouting 21, player development. See, I'd like him on player development too. These guys are a wash. So probably the best assignments for them right now. I've got my best recruiter in recruiting. And what he does is he'll make phone calls, travel to scout players, review game tapes, and host recruiting visits. Your scout will provide scouting reports, including scouted ratings of opponents, tendencies. And in practice, you assist in preparing and running practices, helping players develop in individual skills and the offensive and defensive sets that you run with your team. So again, you just choose where you want them. If you make any changes, click save and you're good there. Let's take a look at recruiting. Okay. So these are only recruits that I'm watching, so that's a default, which is fine. Click color to select a region. All right. So we're going to uncheck that. Update. All right, there we go. And I guess this is the gold level books. I didn't buy any, so they're not there. All right, well, I tell you what, let's back out of there for a minute. Let's go back to the home page, go back to our email, and just read through this again. All right, so we can begin to recruit players every week. Set your recruiting instructions every week. They will be cleared out except for your call list. So that's important. Prior to the season, starting your tasks will be recruiting and eventually scheduling practices. Be sure you have your recruiting instructions before you click the icon to advance right here. Visit the team strategy page. We already did that. Be aware that the minimum test score, all right, so this is important. This is going to be different for every school. So Mount St. Mary's is a private institution, so we need a 900 minimum score. So an Ivy League may have 1200 or a 1000, maybe have a GPA requirement. Those will have to factor into your recruiting. So that's something you'll want to make a note of. Scores are finalized on January 28th. So we'll have to see what information we're given from a score perspective. We will have to, and then, you don't want to probably recruit anybody that's right at or right below. Although, some of those guys right below may get their scores up to where they qualify. They might not. So you run the risk. If you recruit a guy with a 1,000 score, he's probably not going to drop 100 points. If you recruit a guy with an 800, is he going to come up 100 points? Maybe not. So, you'd really hate to recruit somebody and then they not qualify and then you lose out on them. So that's something you have to consider and be aware of for whatever school you're at. So this was a very important email. In fact, I'm not even going to delete it because I want to be able to come back maybe and refer to this. All right, the recruiting page has an option to see a recruiting schedule. Well, let's look at schedule here. No. Recruiting page. Oh, here we go, right here. View key dates. All right. So basically, you can see the entire year from right now when we started. June 26 is the quiet period. In a quiet period, you can call a recruit, watch game film, and bring the recruit to campus for a visit. Evaluation is the next period starting July 3rd. You can call them, watch game film, host the recruit for a campus visit, and then in addition, you can go and watch the recruit live in a game and go watch them play. A dead period, you can call them and watch game film, but no visits. And then in the contact period, call, watch game film, host the recruit, and then visit the recruit personally at his house. So that's the 4 different periods that you have. Uh, college football is the same way. They will do letter of intent in mid-November, and then a late letter of intent at the end of April. So your first signings will come during this week, and then your last signing opportunity will come at the end. So, you basically take a look at your guys here. Remember, when we get to January, we'll find out who qualifies. So we'll see if we get the guys or lose guys, and then we'll have a chance to go after some additional players. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. So we'll go back up to recruiting. Oh, close right there. All right. So first thing I want to do is I want to go look at my roster. Okay. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 scholarship players and 2 walk-ons. So 15-man rosters, it appears. Oh, I cannot reverse those. So we've got 2 centers, 4 power forwards, 2 small forwards, 3 shooting guards, and 4 point guards. So let's take a look at basically what I'm evaluating is what we need. So first off, we're going to lose a point guard. That's going to leave us 3. We're going to lose 2 shooting guards. So I'm definitely going to want a shooting guard this year. My 2 small forwards are both underclassmen. I'm losing 1 power forward, but I'll be okay there. And I'm losing a center, so I need a center as well. So center and a 2 guard must have. Now one of these, I'm losing my power forward, but he's a walk-on, so he's probably not that good. And I've got another point guard that is also a walk-on, so that really leaves me 2 point guards, a freshman and a junior. So as my second tier option, I'm going to say a point guard. And then I only had, let's see, 3 2 guards, 2 of them are graduating, so I'm probably going to need actually 2 shooting guards. So there's my 4 scholarships. That's what I've determined that I need. I need a center, 2 shooting guards, and then a point guard. Now the point guard, if I don't get, okay, that'll be fine. The center and the 2 shooting guards, I think, are going to be mandatory. So if I don't really see a point guard that I like, I can always just take best available that I can find. Okay. Okay, so that is going to be that. Let's take a look at their ratings. Now remember, we're on a 1 to 10 scale. Oh, is this not going to give me a mouse over? Ugh. Okay. I like mouse overs just so it gives you the definitions of what you're looking at. Field goal inside. Field goal jumper. Well, let me pull up this guy. All right, so we have inside shooting, outside shooting, free throws, scoring. You know what I did not see in the options? I'm just going to throw this out as a suggestion because I like the option. I like more of the throwback style with no 3-point shooting. It would be nice to be able to tweak the rules for your league to allow 3 points, not to allow 3 points. And that's very similar to what we already did with allowing early transfer early graduation, which I had turned off. So that would be a nice, I like that option, which we don't have here. That's okay. It's just something we have to factor in. Shot preference. So you can see his shot preference graph here. 75% in the paint or in the post, 22% mid-range jumpers, 3% from outside three-point range, 45% shots, and 55% driving to the hoop. So he likes to drive to the hoop from the post. Probably going to get fouled a lot, although he's not very good at drawing fouls. Free throw shooting is pretty good, above average, so if he does get fouled, we won't hate him at the line. We've got the little star rating. They're using basketballs up here, so he's basically 2.5 stars out of 3. Has an excellent relationship with the coach and the team. This will probably change over time. Good free throw shooter, but should look to get to the line more often. Good rebounding ability with good leaping and good second and third jump ability. As a shooter, he does not evaluate all that well on his jumper and is content with being a flat-footed set shooter. So that's not really good for our fast-paced offense. Let's go ahead and close that. Again, this is just kind of a tutorial walkthrough, so we're going to go ahead and put a cut in right here. We'll come back with another video picking up at this point. And thanks for checking this out. I hope it helps. A lot of this has just been, some busy work trying to get the feel of the game, going through the emails. In the next one, we'll actually get into recruiting. But I wanted you to be able to see, basic evaluation, how we're getting through certain screens. I'm trying to get used to that as well. So anyway, thanks for checking it out. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.